I've had a very strange evening thus far. Technology did not want to cooperate with me. Microphone didn't want to work, and then the control panel failed miserably. So I thought, let's give it a couple of reboots and see what happens. And didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So that just added to my stress level. Let me just lower my seat a little bit here so you can see some candlelight. You can sort of see it. There we go. Just burning some candles to create a little bit of ambiance as it's supposed to put some essential oil in the top of that little candle holder hut thing. But what I used to put essential oil, and it got to be quite expensive and difficult to find. So one day I've rolled across these scented wax tablets, and I thought, well, that could be interesting. So I purchased a box of them. I think there was about a dozen or so, and they were lovely. They were cinnamon flavored and vanilla flavored, and they were just about the size of a cube of dice. I would put one in, and light the candle, it would melt it, and it would release this lovely calming scent. But it wasn't natural, and the point of the essential oil is that it's natural and releases non-harsh chemicals. I say non-harsh because everything is a chemical. If you consume it, smell it, eat it, drink it, it's a chemical of some type. So when somebody tries to sell you something, says, oh, this is all organic, there's no chemicals, it's not a thing. Everything is made of chemicals. Period. To think otherwise is, well, a little bit on the silly side, and it's kind of denying what science really is. But I'm not going to get into that. At least not now. I'm having a glass of wine. Because I feel I've earned it after a bit of a slog of a day. It wasn't a terrible day. It was just a very busy one. And I thought, you know what, I'll have a glass of wine. I was working on some tech stuff a little bit earlier, and a few things did go sideways, as they often do when one tries to create this environment. But that's okay. Problems always do arise, and they always will. Well, anyway, I'll get back to the candle I'm burning behind me, right over there, right there. You can see that? So it's a little well. And I went through the Glade purchased tablets about the size of a dice, and what I found was you could burn them twice, and then that was kind of it. There was no scent left, so you had to pour the wax out into something and then dispose of it. Well, my father, a number of years ago, had manufactured a bunch of candles from wax that was easily 150 years old. And his great-great-grandfather, who had harvested this wax, didn't completely separate the honey from it. And it was done intentionally because he liked the smell of it. Well, here's the beauty of it. As you may or may not know, honey never goes bad. It doesn't, period, ever. Well, 150-year-old wax, beeswax mixed with honey, it doesn't evaporate. When it melts, it just rolls, and, if you light the candle, it'll drip, and you collect the drippings, and you put them into a bowl, and you collect them, and I've been doing that for a long time with the candles my dad makes from time to time. And I returned the wax to him, but I said, I'm going to keep a little bit for this little burning thing up here. Let's see if I can get my hand right there, that little device right there. Well, anyway, I have been burning the same piece of wax, melting it. I shouldn't say burning it. It melts in the little bowl that it sits in underneath the tea light. And I've been doing that for 10 years now. And it emits this wonderful, lovely honey roasted smell. It's this wonderful scent. It's all natural, of course, because literally it was created by bees. And it along with the candlelight helps to bring a calming sense throughout the room. So it helps me to get down to relax when I sit here to do this. Well, thanks, Steve. I do actually have some holiday plans. I'll be getting together with my family. They don't live too far away. My immediate family, my sisters, my mom and dad, and nieces and nephews. They'll all be here for Christmas. My sister and brother-in-law, who live about 3 hours from here, they'll be coming up this year. Last year I went to see them, and it was a wonderful Christmas. Yeah, so this year it'll be here in town. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you have some good plans for Christmas this year. If you celebrate, I assume you do, because, you asked me what my holiday plans were. I chose to come on this evening to talk because I'm feeling guilty. Just a second, I gotta clear my throat. I'm feeling guilty because I had committed to a collaborative project with a couple of really wonderful people in the UK who asked me to contribute to a thing that they wanted to do. And they wrote out the script, and I had completely agreed to do it. And I was excited about the project. And I had tentatively scheduled some time to sit down and record. Then life got in the way, and then anxiety got in the way. A little anxious just talking about it, because I'm having trouble looking into the camera to talk to you and trying to remain not too fidgety. It is a blessing to have family around. Thanks, Steve. I had committed to this project, and I liked the idea of it. I thought it was wonderful. They wrote out a script, and I read it, and I thought, this is great. Yeah, I can totally do this. And then I got a little bit busy, and then I was like, I sat down to do it, and then I got seriously anxious. I would say almost stage fright-like. Because everything I do when it's like this, I have no notes in front of me. I do this, it's all from here. On the rare occasions where I've done a guided meditation, it's been from meditations that I've read, and I will try and put as much of it to memory as I possibly can, so that I can sit here and give you an off-the-cuff meditation. So, I'm embarrassed to say that my anxiety got the best of me, and I guess I did the Irish goodbye, I guess you would call it, but I don't think I want to call it that. I shirked my duties. I was not able to fulfill what I was asked to fulfill, and I feel really bad about it. And I don't know how I can make it up to these lovely people, or if I can. That's one of the things about anxiety. It can really, really tear a strip off you, It can take a piece out of you. Yet anyway, in this instance, it made it difficult for me to fulfill the commitment I had made. And I do feel absolutely terrible about that, because when I commit to something, I want to follow through with it, as I'm sure you can understand. Just a second. I mean, audio issues this evening, amongst other things. Is that light too bright? Maybe I should dim it down a little bit. A little bit better there. So, yeah. I've been able to do the 3-day political project because that's something that I'm working on with somebody else who's very close to me, and I don't want to let that individual down, and we've been working at it for almost 2 years now. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we go live, and I, oddly enough, have no issues with going live and having no script. Merry Christmas. I get freaked out at the idea of having to read a script, and that gives me anxiety. I think, and this is some self-examination here when I say this, I think it's because it's words that somebody else has written, and I'm worried I'm going to not deliver them in the manner that they would like to have them delivered. You know, if somebody writes something and they hear the rhythm in their head of how they want it, and I've discovered that I'm better at interpreting it in my own manner for myself to deliver, and I'm usually quite pleased with it, because I'm thinking this is the rhythm I hear, and I deliver it. And then I've had a few people respond back and say, that's not what I wanted at all. What I wanted was this. I'm like, let me try once again. No, that's still not what I wanted. Okay. Can we collaborate on this a little bit better? I need you basically sitting here beside me so that I can get direct direction from you. Because I find email exchanges or text exchanges or IMs back and forth aren't super constructive. I guess I'm just somebody who needs direction from somebody who's willing to deliver it to me live. And that had nothing to do with this project that I fell apart on. It was just that I started overthinking it and was so worried that I would be letting someone down that I just let everyone down by not doing it at all. It's a weird sort of thing you can sometimes talk yourself into with anxiety. You can Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. You can sit there and do you can sit there and think to yourself, well, I can do this. And then you try it and you realize you can't. And instead of reaching out and saying, I can't do this because you're incapable of telling somebody no because you are a person who wants to please people, you, oddly enough, let them down. Completely let them down by just not even showing up. Which I think is probably much, much worse than saying, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I mean, I dig my own hole on this. Or dug my own hole. It's not the first time. I'm hoping it'll be the last, but let's be honest with one another. It probably won't be. It's a lifetime of unlearned behavior. Or learned behavior that I have to unlearn. That's what I'm trying to say. A lifetime of experience repeating the same pattern, realizing it's never gotten anyone what they wanted, but, here we are. So, that's kind of where I am right now. My head's in a different space, and I'm not unhappy. And I'm surprisingly not as stressed as I would normally be at this time of the year because, it's the Christmas season, the silly season that is often referred to, and at this time of the year, it's difficult to maintain one's sense of balance and focus because you're being pulled in 9 different directions. And you tend to be exhausted because you've got family commitments and personal commitments along with commitments with your employers. I'm not saying that applies to everybody. A great many of us can identify with that, and quite frankly, that's kind of where I am right now. Trying to get it figured out, It's the difficult part of having social anxiety disorder. Sometimes I'm in complete control and everything's great, and then other times I'll be in a room full of people and I have to get the hell out of there right away. And having a panic attack in public, it happens to me more often than you would ever know, but I'm very good at hiding it. Only people who are really, really close to me and have known me for a very long time might see it. And I say might, because I've gotten very good at hiding it, even though I'm very vocal about it. I'll talk about it, but while I'm in the middle of it, I can't discuss it. I need to, because society trained me to hide it away, and I'm not pointing the finger of blame at anybody on this. It's just the way things were. Good, bad, indifferent. I've learned and grown, and I'm hopefully getting better, but that remains to be seen. But anyway, I suffered from societal views for a long time. Nobody wants to see the person freak out in public, especially if you're a young man, or just a man, period. We're only, without getting too deep here, without getting too philosophical, we're only really allowed 2 emotions, joy and anger. Without picking that apart too much, I think any man watching this will be able to recognize and understand what I'm saying, and I think a great number of women can recognize and understand what I'm saying as well. I have my emotional moments, and I tend to hide them away from people. I'm open about it. I'll say what happened, what I experienced. I'll talk about it, but I don't like to. I don't like anybody to see me when I'm vulnerable like that. I guess it's because we're supposed to be strong as men, right? It's a complicated situation and a complicated time, and I don't have the answers. I just have a lot of questions, but I think in an open forum like this, talking about it might raise, questions for somebody else, or at least help someone to feel that sense of camaraderie that we're all experiencing the same thing. Or some of us are, I should say. I shouldn't say we're all experiencing it. I only really speak for myself. I don't speak for anybody else. But I know that when I say that most men have felt these things and times and moments, I don't think I'm wrong. Shoot me down for it. Attack me for it. Go ahead. You won't hurt me. I'm made of concrete and steel. Generation X, baby. We don't feel pain, remember? The latchkey generation, although I wasn't a latchkey kid because my mom did stay home and raise us, grew up with a single salary. My father worked to support us and my mother stayed home. But I was the only kid I knew like that. Everybody else I grew up with, both parents worked if they had both parents. Not everybody had 2 parents. And that was something that was new to me when I first experienced it. When I discovered a classmate whose mother had left and her father was raising her. That was the first for me. I was in the 7th grade when I encountered that for the first time, and I didn't understand that at all. It was such a foreign thing to me. How sheltered a life I led, eh? Well, military kid living on Canadian Air Force bases, and in some cases, in the case of Ottawa, an Army base. So I didn't, it wasn't something encountered ordinarily within the military system. Not saying it didn't happen, it just was not something I saw all the time. So, that was, an eye-opening experience. I guess I've kind of wandered off topic here, but I think you can understand, sometimes that happens. So I hope that this holiday season, anyone who tunes in or checks this out is able to spend some time with loved ones, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah. Diwali, I know, just happened. Ramadan is upcoming, but it won't be for a little bit longer. Kwanzaa, I know, starts on Boxing Day for those who celebrate Kwanzaa. I know that there are other holidays that are celebrated at this time. I don't know all of them, and I apologize, but, I'm just a dumb old white guy in Canada, and a lot of the holiday celebrations around this time of the year that many other nations and people and cultures celebrate are still pretty new to me and this country. But I welcome all of them because each and every one of them are beautiful in and of their own right. And something I've noticed too is that, like, I've always said Merry Christmas to people. Occasionally I'll say Happy Holidays if it's deemed appropriate, but I've noticed that most people I've encountered in my life who I've wished a Merry Christmas to, including my colleagues who are Jewish and Muslim and Hindu and basically non-Christians, or atheists or agnostics, who I've said, Merry Christmas. And every single one of them has greeted me with the same thing. The response was, Merry Christmas to you too. I've never had anybody be offended by it, or get upset, or say anything negative to me. Do you know why? This isn't political. This isn't politically correct. The message, when you say Merry Christmas to somebody, it's peace on earth, goodwill towards all peoples. And that's kind of a message I think every living, breathing human being can get behind. Perhaps I'm wrong. I don't know that much. I'm not that smart. But I think when you wish somebody Merry Christmas, you're wishing them the best. And I think that's a pretty good thing. So, I would like to wish all you wonderful people a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Blessed Kwanzaa, and whatever you celebrate at this time of the year. I hope you celebrate it with friends or family or loved ones, or maybe just co-workers. I don't know what you celebrate, who or with or where, but I hope that it's a joyous time for you. And I know that this time of the year can be incredibly stressful. My anxiety usually peaks at this time of the year, and for most of my life, and my family can attest to it, with the exception of maybe the last 5 or 6 years, maybe 10 years, I'm not even entirely sure. I used to get violently ill at Christmas, like very sick. Fever, body chills, aches, pains, you name it. Every year it never failed. A couple of times I almost died. That's true. Meningitis, pneumonia, you figure it. I had it. And I don't know. I don't think it was anxiety at that point, because I know when I know when the split in my life took place, I was 11, approaching my 12th birthday, when my life irrevocably changed. And I don't feel like discussing it this evening. Some other time I will. I'll get into it. I've talked about it in the past. But I do remember the moment when that crack occurred, when the anxiety and depression were really pronounced. I had the anxiety prior to that, but that was the log-splitting moment, if you will. Anyway, I'm beginning to babble and wander away here, and I don't want to do that. I want you beautiful people to recognize that when I sit here and do this, it's to try and provide anyone who needs a place to sit and listen to a dumb old white guy talk about anxiety and depression, and try and provide you with manners in which to cope, and do so in a soothing voice. Because I just want to help people. That's all I want to do. Anybody who's struggling and needs to come in and sit and listen, share, don't share, I'm not offended either way. I had some brie earlier, and I'm regretting that terribly because I'm allergic to dairy, but it tasted very good. My apologies. But this venue is for sharing. And again, when I say sharing, you don't have to share anything in the chat if you don't want to. I think sometimes my sharing of what I've gone through, I've been told, can be helpful to others. So I'll continue to do it. Had somebody tell me once the fact that I was able to put my arm around them and say, hey, look, I know what you're going through. I have anxiety too. It's okay. I'm here for you. I know how tough this can be. You need to talk about it, I'm here. You don't want to talk about it, that's cool. You just want to sit and hang out, talk about anything, that's cool too. When I'm in the midst of an anxiety attack or a severe depressive episode, I sometimes have the strength to say I'm going through an anxiety attack. There's about 3 people I can tell that to. And they'll be like, are you okay? And I go, yeah, can we just sit here and talk about anything other than this? Because I need to get my mind off of it so I can clear my head. It's the same thing with depression. I need to empty it from my mind so that I'll have a clear head. Stop thinking about the thing I've been thinking about for hours on end, or days sometimes. Clear my mind. Breathe. Relax. And move forward. And that's the key. Breathe. Not the autonomic nervous system that makes you breathe to keep you alive. Breathe with purpose. Do that 10 times in a row. 10 deep breaths. Hold them for 3 to 5 seconds, whatever you're comfortable with. Then slowly release. We're not trying to hyperventilate. We want to slow our heart rate, calm our nerves, and release GABA. It works. And the reason I talk about it so much is because I need to do it. And I'm here reminding myself that I need to do it and sharing that with you. And on that note, I will take my leave. I thank you for joining. I thank you for your time. And I hope that I've been able to help you in some way even if it's the tiniest possible method. I'll try and get something together in the next couple of days if I can work my schedule out. Until then, my friends, do take care. Remember, your mental health is very important, and I do care. So please, feel free to reach out. I'll be here for you. See you soon.